Welcome to Hermit Woods, where there's a story in every bottle. We're live.
Hey, we are live. Live and prepared. Well done. Ken was on top of things today. Ken got something in our glasses before we went live.
Because it's Monday at 5:30 yet again, and we are all together. It has been a while since we've been all together.
All four, yeah.
I mean, 2 weeks ago, we had to play an old video, which was fun.
We had very important meetings to go to.
I couldn't be here.
Right.
I don't know, Chuck, were you around
Nope.
last Monday?
No, I was not around. No, I was in.
What did we do? Oh, we interviewed Chris last
London,
week.
London.
So before we go any further, I know you're going to try and derail me, but we're going to talk about the basics. So those of you who are here for the very first time, and there may not be any of those people, but if you are here for the first time, we welcome you. Thank you for joining us for our show. We talk about lots of things on this show, mostly centered around wine, but sometimes other subjects. We'd love it if you'd subscribe to our show. You can. There's a button underneath Ken. Point down, Ken. There it is. If you're on YouTube, that is where the subscribe button is. Please hit it. Subscribe to our page. And that way, you will get notified every time we go live, no matter where we are in the world. And God knows we may just go live from no matter where we are in the world, because we do. So
I was gonna say, I feel like we should have Chuck tune in from across the sea one week.
He has.
Timing wise, it's tough, I suppose.
Yeah, it
but
is. It's late at night there. Yeah.
Well, if it's Monday at 5:30, but maybe it should be on.
All right, now you're derailing me. So the next thing we want to
gotta
talk
take
about
turns.
is
It's a team effort here.
If you are on Facebook, there's a little bell on your screen. Click that bell, and that will be how you subscribe to our Facebook Live broadcasts, and you will also get notified whenever we go live on Facebook. If you're watching, please like or share the broadcast with your friends so that you can get them invited into the conversation if they're interested. And please let yourself be known by offering comments in the comment section. If you have any questions, please ask them. We'll do our best to answer them live on the show, or at the very least, Marika will get your questions made live or answer them for you. So I think I've covered all the bells and whistles. So what are we here today to talk about?
Any comments about the club event that got postponed? Make sure
that's a great idea. We did put lots of communications out. We were really disappointed. It was not the storm of the century that it was being described to be, but nonetheless,
it was pretty messy.
It did snow.
It was really messy when I
It was
drove in
messy.
here Friday.
Yeah.
I was sliding all over the place.
Yeah, it was a wet snow, so it's best to not have people on the roads. And
we had a whole winery snow day, which is
rare.
Happens maybe once a year. I feel like
Maybe
It's
not
rare.
even
It was
usually.
rare we closed the winery, but we did.
I leave for a week, and this is what you guys do.
We messed everything up.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, we shut down the
Very
Winery
nice.
So
Woods
did
game.
we reschedule this?
So no, that's first on our agenda this week is to come up with a new date. It's going to be sometime in January. We'll hope and pray it doesn't snow, and hopefully all of you who were planning on attending this last event will be able to come, and maybe some new people will be able to come as a result of not having it on this day. So we did invite you all, and you all generously donated to the two charities, the Children's Auction and Greater Meredith Program, with the purchase of your ticket to the show. And we will, as promised, match those funds and direct them to those sources. And we will not be asking you to donate again to schedule our next party. We will ask that you RSVP so we know how many people to expect to come. So you'll still be going through Eventbrite to do that. But we really want to express our sincere appreciation for all your generous donations. And we raised somewhere between, we matched every dollar that you brought forward. So we raised close to $1,200, or actually it's a little over $1,200 for those two charities for this event. So that's fantastic news. And I will be putting out a post to that effect, letting everybody know what we did. And
Thank you, everybody. That's great.
we haven't delivered the checks yet, so I'm being patient with that. But in the next few weeks, we'll have delivered the checks, and everybody will celebrate that donation.
Great.
Thank you.
Wow. Given away.
Speaking of guests, we have special guests here with us in our live audience today.
We do.
We do, yeah. We have a live
All the way
audience.
from Switzerland.
Normally, that's why we have a few less people on today, because they're actually
They're
here.
actually here.
They're here. They're probably on. Yes, they are
Right there.
on. They're here live and virtually.
Yes, yeah. So if you hear cackling in the background, it's either Wolfgang, Cosmo, or Bonnie, who are having their own wine sampling program, and maybe some beer too.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Certainly.
Yeah, we do sell beer.
Yeah, we do sell
We
beer.
sell beer.
Yeah.
And look what Travis put together for us today.
Yeah, he sent me a list of what we've got on that board today.
I'm not going to tilt it too much because I'll end up with it in my lap, but
At least not on the computer.
Yeah.
So we've got the
great. We have a list.
aged Gouda
Aged Gouda.
from Cobb Hill.
Yep.
That's one of the triangle
Cobb Hill
ones.
in Vermont.
The Grafton Shep's Hog is, I believe, this other
Okay.
triangle one. I
Yep.
think the yellower one is the Gouda.
Okay.
And then
What else?
Cheddar.
Ouclette. Oh, that's the squishy one.
This one?
The squishy cheese. Yep.
Okay. Oh, this
That's a
is
new
delicious.
it's a new creamery that we've started getting things from. The
Mm.
Bridgeport.
Very good.
Really
That's a
good.
new one. They're the ones that do that Swissarella,
Yep.
which I can vouch for makes a great mac and cheese. Brought some home.
Wow.
You want to mix it with something sharper like cheddar, but it's a good melty, stretchy cheese. We've got some copa and the tartufo salami and the finocchiona
Monster.
from Fortuna's.
Fortuna's.
Yep. And of course, Everyday Cafe mustard from Blackwater and the Waz balsamic fig, Jack's Red Wine
Jack's
crackers.
Yeah. And the mustard guy is represented here.
Yep. That's the Everyday
Oh,
Cafe, the good
yeah.
like sort of grainy pub mustard.
What is this mustard company called again? It's
Blackwater.
Blackwater, yes. Blackwater. You know, I can't say enough. The local companies, these are small local producers that are producing very small quantities of stuff. And we are moving tons of it through here. And it's so great to have this great
really
quality
nice.
food on our plates. I really love it.
All local as possible.
That's part of the mission.
Yeah. It's that
Part of
food
the
part of
mission.
it. Yeah.
Even in this lab.
Speaking of mission, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
What is
our-
the plan?
Look at that. Chuck got us back on board. How did he have to
Points
do
for Chuck
anything?
today.
Oh, you just wait.
Something's wrong
This
here.
train's going off.
He's been away too long.
Right, yeah.
Yes, we are sampling some wines that we pulled out of the library,
Always fun.
and they're all from 2014. And so we're going to sample these 4 different wines. And this was back early on when we were looking for source to scale up our kiwis. We contacted with a guy, Kiwi Dave, down at a company that he called Kiwi Corners. We'll spell with K's.
Northern
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. North Central.
North Central
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. And Dave has been growing kiwis for 30 years or something like that.
He's
Lots
in
of
his,
different varieties.
he's in his late 70s or his 80s, right? He's still farming.
Certified organic. And so he would harvest kiwi berries for us, and we would scramble to get them up here. Because it's interesting, kiwis, I've learned a lot from Iago now at UNH about kiwis. They pick them when they get to 8 bricks, and they're still hard. They're quite astringent if you bite into them. So they're not ready to eat, kind of like a green banana.
Yep.
But like a banana, they will ripen fully. Once they're allowed to get to 8 bricks on the vine, then you can pick them, and you can keep them in a refrigerator for 5 weeks.
Wow.
And then up through those 5 weeks, you take out a handful or whatever you want to eat and let them ripen on your counter. It takes a day or 2 or 3, depending on how long they've been in the fridge.
Yep.
And they'll reach 15, 18, 20 bricks. And
Didn't you have some that reached 30 in the room?
we have had that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Like the passion popper.
Yeah.
That's a non-sugar added kiwi wine, and it came in at like 15%.
Wow.
Just from the natural bricks.
Right.
Cabernet in Napa, it's 15%.
Right. No, that's big.
So that's a big format.
I mean, the highest bricks that any fruit in New England probably achieves is roughly 18, right? So 30 is also.
Some of the
right.
hybrid grapes get in the low 20s.
I'm sorry, I meant non-grapes.
Oh, non-grapes.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh,
the fruit. Yeah, other than grapes.
Roxbury Russet, some of the heirloom cider apples.
Yeah, we'll go above
We'll
18.
reach that sort of 16, 18.
Well,
Yeah.
even the
range.
Dogo's 17.
Right, but that's about the top for New England
But the
fruit.
kiwi berry goes further.
But the kiwi berry will go to 30.
That's
And you actually discovered this kiwi berry from your friend Greg Mee,
From Great
which
Beach
Coldwater Distillery.
Distillery. Yeah, and he uses it in his eau de vie and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So this is a kiwi wine. So this is fermented kiwis with some water, and then I blended in some apples as well, some apple wine.
What year is it?
This 2014.
This is interesting because
What's
it's
interesting to me is
I wanna hear about
it's
it.
developed a
Yeah.
different aroma in this bottle, which tends to blow off a little bit as you swirl it. But I found the same aroma at times with kiwis when they aged, and I'm not quite sure what it is. It came out in our Rebel.
Yep.
It doesn't come out in all the bottles, but some of them.
Well, that's even stranger
Mm-hmm.
because they're all the same ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one actually tastes like kiwis. When we've had kiwi wines before, I get that sort of the sourness
The sour,
and a bit
yeah.
of the sort of mouth puckery that you associate with kiwis, but the actual flavor, it doesn't scream kiwi to me. This one screams kiwi.
What's fascinating to me is I was sampling and blending wines this afternoon, sampling the 22 kiwi. And I've gone and learned different approaches to working with this fruit. And the 22 kiwi, straight on its own, right up, is just an elegant, wonderful white wine. It's really nice.
Wow.
And it has
Careful though,
something to do
because
with
next week
Yeah,
that might be different.
it's true.
If I
It might
know,
be different.
if kiwis have stayed true to their history,
No, I think
you've got it stable.
yeah, I think I'm figuring out how to get it stable.
That's good.
It has
'Cause
a lot
mostly
of
you blend
ascorbic
it.
acid in it. You can't use any sort of free sulfur test or anything like that works because there's so much ascorbic
So
acid.
you're saying this is full of vitamin C.
It's full of vitamin C.
So
Very
once
Cheers.
again, you can see us
Very
getting
healthy.
healthier as we sit here.
Cheers to your health,
Yeah,
everybody.
Cheers to your health.
Cheers to
Kiwis.
everybody.
Here's
Kiwis.
your
Kiwis. Everyone should eat kiwis.
So I'm finding this. I really like this. I mean, 2014, so it is 9 years old, depending on timing. I think it's better now than it may have been when we released it, because it was tended to have a little sourness,
better now.
and this has that, like Marika pointed out, that kind of kiwi flavor that is very common to all the kiwi wines, but it has an extra cotton candy mouthfeel, softness, and all this great stuff, and there's nothing about it that's overly aggressive or overly acidic.
Yeah, it
All
softens a
those-
bit. It
soften.
used to have that really harsh acidity.
Yeah.
And I found when I made the Meredith Bay White for the first time last year, that a way to really help, instead of, this was 5% apple wine. I bet if I'd gone to 50% apple wine, this would have been a more stable and a more drinkable wine.
So I've always wished that, we've gone so many different paths with kiwis, and we've been on again, off again with kiwis, both because of its availability and because of our struggles with it.
Right.
But I've always wished that we could figure the puzzle out, because kiwis, I've always felt like
I'm getting there.
at some juncture.
I've ricocheted.
Yeah, no, it's
Wildly.
all over the place. But at some junctures across the path, there are times in which I feel like this wine, that this berry has the most potential to be special and unique, and even almost by itself in some like you're describing today's, the most current vintage. That this could be one of those. This could be the the Chardonnay to Burgundy,
Yeah. What I want,
as
what I
you know,
wanna make-
kiwis to New Hampshire. You know,
What I want to make next year, if I have the bandwidth and tank space, is a kiwi hard cider.
Ooh.
So I use
wow.
That's
fresh
not-
pressed
I'm
sweet
excited about
cider as
that.
a base, and I crush in, kind of like what I do with the crab apples,
Yeah.
and add this little kiwi note on top of a cider with some bubbles.
I feel like that would make it.
That I
It
think
adds
would be really.
almost like a tropical, like passion fruit.
It is very
Yeah.
tropical.
Yeah, I
isn't
mean,
it?
it's kiwis. Yeah,
It's kiwis.
Mhm.
Well, these aren't tropical kiwis.
that's true.
But
They're
they have
kiwi
the
berries,
tropical
but I feel like the
characteristics.
flavor, people, yeah, it's sort of kiwi is kind of a tropical flavor. People think.
I think it's gonna be. I think kiwi
I'm excited
cider.
for that.
Imagine
That
what,
sounds really
10
fun.
years from now, when we're sitting here having this conversation about the 10-year-old wine we made this year, and that kiwis are actually a thing that grow in New Hampshire that have the bricks,
Right.
and it's just kiwis.
Yeah.
Right. It's a local fruit that replaces grapes that you just crush.
And they're so yummy.
I think they would do great as an ice wine too.
Oh,
to
yeah,
freeze,
yeah,
to
that'd
freeze
be
the
so-
kiwis.
Yeah.
Oh,
Make it like that.
now you're
Interesting.
talking.
I wish you
So-
could see them more often, like in the grocery store or at farmers markets and things, because they're tasty snacks.
Well, what I remember, what Dave used to tell us, Kiwi Dave used to harvest these for most commercial people at the 8%, at the 8% ripe, not or 80%. I don't know what you said, but a little under ripe.
Mhm.
And he saved those for us. He hung on the vine till the very last minute,
Mhm.
so they get maximum bricks. He could deliver them up, and we could ferment them.
But it was a real problem.
It was a real problem because they came up right on that edge, and some didn't make it.
Right.
But what I remember him telling us is that even the reason that you don't see these commercially available as much is because they ripen. So once they get to that point, you put them in the shelf on the front of the, in the supermarket. They ripen to ripeness so quickly
Mhm.
that
That's tough, yeah.
supermarkets don't want to touch them because they lose
Well,
too
that's what
many.
Iago's finding on different cultivars, because he's got 1,000 different cultivars of kiwis going on. And he's trying to figure out which one of those are best for market, which taste good, which ripen well, which are consistent.
Yeah,
And
because if he nails it,
if he nails it, it's great because they grow really well here. So people will be able to plant them instead of growing rocks in their fields with some hay. They can grow kiwi berries.
we don't have to grow rocks; they just come up on their
I
own.
know, it's really easy.
When you do get a kiwi berry that's right, it's like eating candy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's why I love the method that you use, because they come in and they're ripening at different stages. So usually when it's kiwi berry time down in the winery, there are these
The table.
nice table full of kiwi berries. So every time we go downstairs, you can just sort of
I know. I
grab
ended
one
up
on your
with
way by.
about
And
10 or 20 pounds of fewer.
yeah, somehow I don't know how. It's not just there are a lot of people in and out of the winery.
And everybody's buzzing around this shop.
Got a sugar buzz.
Well, I got done this week, didn't it?
Yeah, it's really fun. I think I'm starting to converge in on kiwis and how to work with it, and how to deal with it, and it's opening up all sorts of good.
Well, and what's amazing is that this very kiwi
So
wine,
good.
we've opened before. We're like, oh, I don't want to open that one. That's a trouble one. I don't want to deal with that one. Because at different times we've opened that and we've just
I know,
not
it's
liked it.
No,
Just not like it.
there's been periods of this wine I've not liked.
Yeah.
And it's the
There-
same wine. That's 9 years that's been trying to come together. Now, it's a little cloudy. Was it cloudy when you bottled it?
No,
was it?
that's when they go cloudy, I know they're going to have this aroma.
So that's something that's changing because that's not going to settle out. That stays cloudy. There is some sediment.
It will settle if you leave it still. As soon as you pick it up, it's a cloud.
Okay.
It just instantly
It's very fine
flumps right up.
Yeah.
So that's something's unstable. It's joining in there and then settling out.
Yeah.
And then that creates this aroma.
Funny.
So
Strange creature.
that's what you get with a geologist looking through the pine.
Hey, we've got to
So-
start somewhere, right?
It's a little bit of a hit or miss.
You started the conversation off with that this is a library wine. Let's make sure if there's anybody out there that doesn't know what a library wine is,
Yeah.
let's make sure that it's clear what that means. So all wineries, or I shouldn't say all, but most wineries have what is called their library of wines, which is simply a place where people put their wines in the cellar to age, to mature. Because most wineries will present wines to the public when they're ready to drink, but that doesn't mean they're at their peak. as we've talked about many times, some wines can take many years to get to a place where they're at their perfect place.
Right.
But wineries don't typically age them out that way. If they did, and those that do, you have to pay an enormous amount of money because they have to take care of that wine, they have to babysit it.
Right.
That's like the use your child story, the child that never leaves the house.
Right.
You have to keep paying for that child for years, potentially. It may end up being the perfect child when they finally move out, but nonetheless, it's very costly.
Right.
So anyway, that's our library. All of our wines that we say are ageable end up in the library in some quantity, a case or 2 or 3, and then we age them away so that in 9 years we can pull them out and try
It's
them and
really
see how they've
helpful
changed.
for me too. I was talking to Travis before. Travis came down and I had a bunch of beakers and stuff on my bench. And told him I was working on Lake House White and how it goes. I said, you get to make a batch of French onion soup, and then you try that, and then if you find that okay, you want to use a little bit more Lake House White and more salt in it, you make another batch. I make this wine and then I wait a year.
Yeah.
I put it in a bottle and then I wait 5 years to see where it's going.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to come up and find something that works and set it in motion, and then I get to sample it. And so it's constantly iterating. Like what I'm tasting now influences what's going to happen next with the wine.
So in some ways, your library is more important than anybody's because in the grape world, we have a general understanding of how grapes mature with age. So it's not as big of a test.
Well, a lot of it there too is, so you got your Cabernet Sauvignon grapes and you harvest those grapes, you crush them, you ferment them, and you get this wine. And then you're digging out, oh, this seems a little watery. Well, we had a rain event before we harvested. But this has got really great intense tannin. So yeah, it was a nice dry summer and we picked at high bricks and they got to hang and shrivel up. A lot of it has to do with in the vineyard. The wine is made in the vineyard. So people are pruning, they're thinking about irrigation, they're thinking about leaf plucking, they're thinking about how to influence the grapes while they're growing. In my situation, I have farmers who are growing fruit, and then I'm trying to create some sort of a blend that makes a nice wine. So it's a different type of challenge.
Well, but you're speaking to something altogether different. What I was speaking to, the fact is that people have been aging grape wines for thousands of years. So we have some sort of expectation of what an aged grape wine might do for you.
But we don't know what an aged kiwi.
But nobody's aged fruit wine. In fact, when we started this winery, we spoke to fruit wine producers and said, we want to lay these down in our cellar. And they said, you don't lay fruit wine down in your cellar. And nobody did. And nobody does. It doesn't exist unless you just forgot about it and happened to find it later.
I don't know if Gary Parker's out there, but Gary brought in some old wine.
Very interesting.
And it's fascinating. And fruit wines. He brought in one blueberry wine from the 90s. And we opened it up in the tasting room and shared it around with you. And it was great.
It was good, yeah.
Great. It was higher alcohol, which helped. And it was a higher sweeter wine, which helped for its age. But
So that's why your library is more important than most libraries, because some of these wines nobody's ever aged. Well, nobody's ever made before, and then nobody's ever laid down in a cellar for 10 years to see where they go. So we have a lot to learn.
rinse out your glass,
Okay.
and we'll open another wine.
War 2014.
Another 2014, and this is made out of grapes. How about that?
Really?
It does happen.
I thought we didn't make grape wine at Hermit Woods.
Oh, these are special
We
grapes.
don't anymore, but we did.
Well, you may still, right? No, somebody else is going
We
to
make
make it.
still. Definitely make still. Nico doesn't harvest it though.
So these grapes,
There's a great story behind this.
Yeah.
You gotta tell that.
Ken bought this farmhouse in Samerton in 2004,
2003.
2003, and discovered these wild vines growing in the back field, and some what looked like trellises that were in pretty rough shape that were once there as well. And further research pointed out that this property was actually a property where a farmer grew grapes to sell to Gilmington Winery, the very first winery in New Hampshire, and
White
that's
Mountain Winery.
I'm sorry, White Mountain Winery, and so these grapes were 50-year-old vines that used to produce wine for White Mountain Winery, the first winery. And you brought them back and retrellised them. And what is it, 30
The
vines?
previous owner left all of his notes of when he planted, what sort of materials he sprayed on it, what he did for the trellis, what sort of tonnage he would get each year, what he got paid for the grapes.
Oh, really? You have all that?
What it cost him in fertilizer and stuff like that.
Businessman.
And it was just, he had long rows of grapes, but the whole field was completely overgrown with sumac and wild rose. And I battled the wild rose and sumac just to save like 10, 20, 30 vines or something like that. That's there. 2 rows of maybe 10 and then another row of 10 vines. Maybe not even, maybe 7 or 8 in each one. But that's it. And so these are wine grapes. Well, I don't have a clue about what to do with wine grapes. I'm a beer brewer. And all of a sudden there are these grapes that are growing on my property. And there's also fruit trees. I mean, it all happened at once. 2003, 2004. We bought it in February of 2003. So that first summer, we bought it in the dead of winter. So we didn't even know what was out back.
Right.
Or around the place. And all these fruit trees flowering. And now we've got pear trees and apple trees and plum trees and blackberries and black raspberries and blueberries and strawberries and all this stuff growing around the yard. And we were spending time together. You were helping me out at the house. You were helping me out at the house. And we're thinking to ourselves, boy, we could make alcohol with this stuff. So we got into making cider and trying different things. And I started reading about what do you do with these old grapes that grow on these vines. And so we got the first harvest, I think, in 2005, and we were buying grapes in 2006 from California, out of Boston.
Did you first blend it with your honey? Because you were keeping bees at the same time.
So I think I have 1 bottle. I made like 2 bottles of wine for the very first time I harvested grapes up those bottles. It was absolutely wild.
Yes.
Terrible stuff. And then Max set up beehives in our backyard, and because these never ripen fully like they would in a nice area to grow grapes, because they're forced to grow in New Hampshire, the Brix levels are low, they're kind of sour, they're a challenge to work with. And I thought, well, why don't I use some of the honey from the beehives right here in the field? Do that as a blend.
Yeah.
So that's the way I've done this. And I've tried this different ways. Sometimes I've thrown some pears in this.
Mm-hmm.
Remember pear poach mead?
Pear poach mead is just
That was epic.
Yeah.
That was like
That's
one
what-
of those times when a wine just turned out perfect. Could never replace it again, never do it again. It was
all 10 bottles of it.
all 10
Rest in
bottles.
peace.
Do you have any left anywhere? Hiding in a cellar
He
somewhere?
might,
Not
yeah.
mine.
Isn't it you that usually has those bottles
Yeah,
hanging?
I don't have that
on your
one.
shelf?
Yeah, it is, but not that one.
Yeah, so this was 2014. So was this made here in Merritt? Or did
It
this
was
start
made here in Meriden. Oh, yeah, made here in Meriden.
made here in Merritt?
We actually met Mrs. Canapa,
Oh, yeah.
her and her husband made wine from those grapes. Remember she came into the winery?
That's right. And you got to tell her the story.
Yep.
And
She
the
took one of
story
those home.
Related to Balsams,
Yep.
Grand Resort as well.
They had their first year in operation. They did a wine pairing dinner at the Balsams Grand Resort Hotel, and in our very first year of operation, so did we.
Yeah, that's what
50 years later.
It's amazing.
It's really amazing.
It's really quite amazing.
Yeah, I toured their winery when I was a kid with my parents.
That's really.
Yeah, I remember it clearly. Yeah, I was big steel tanks, and boring for me because I was like 9 or 8 or like, being dragged around like I don't know.
Well,
An
something worked.
extra wheel. But it was. I was always interested, but I mean, I couldn't try the wine. I listened to the stories, but yeah, and then when I worked in the restaurants as a waiter when I was in high school, we served their wine in our restaurant. So yeah, I was familiar with it, and then not sure exactly what happened in the end. They got sold, I think, at some level, and
They did sell.
They started just processing juice from California and doing bulk wine and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then eventually it petered out.
Yeah.
But they really set we're here because of what the foundation that they laid in the laws and the regulations.
Well, he had to set about changing the
He
laws
did.
so that he
Right,
could do what he
that's
did.
hurt
Yes,
them
we-
financially.
We owe a lot to them
Every
for
winery in the
having
state does.
made all this possible, right? We're indebted to their efforts. Yeah.
Canopus set the wheels in motion.
Yeah.
So what does everybody think? We gotta.
I need a little more to think
It's
a little
very
harder.
light.
It is light.
It's very light.
I do too.
But it's quite smooth now.
It
Some of the
is
sharp
soft,
edges,
yeah.
some of the sharp edges have really gone away. And it has this sort of, I don't know, like rustic, dusty,
Yeah.
sort of beeswaxy sort of note to the aroma. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I like it.
It's like a red raspberry or something. It doesn't taste grapey to me. It tastes like it is biting. It's like you just went out into the backyard on a dewy morning and pulled a raspberry that was just falling off the fruit.
Yeah.
And then it has that nice softness from the honey and the mead, and I think it's really.
I really like it with cheese too, because it's got a lot of acidity to it, a lot of
grippiness. Yeah.
and have a little piece of cheese with it. That's really nice. I struggled with this.
I made
this,
myself a little
this
pile
wine. I ricochet quite a bit with old wine too, and in the later years, I was able to start to drive better concentration. I was adding water with the honey, and then I realized, no, I should just be adding the honey to the grapes, boost the alcohol, and keep the intensity of the grapes there, because I was diluting it with the water.
You didn't need to. You just needed the honey for the sugar.
Yeah.
Let the grapes be the wine. The honey's the sugar.
Yeah. But I like it.
I like it too. Yeah. Yep.
It reminds me a little bit of the, what do you call it, honeycomb.
Yeah.
That mead that I made that has the honey.
What I think is really important, you said it when you said try with the cheese. This is one of those wines that it should be drank with food.
Yeah. No, it does
And there are
better.
some wines that really are meant to be had with food. A lot of wines, actually. And this is clearly one of them. I think it drinks better when it's got something to compete with.
Yeah. I'm very excited about trying this one.
What year are we in now?
14.
This is a 14.
Yeah, it's all 14.
All 14. No.
14.
it's not.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
It's a 13.
Really?
I'm pretty sure that's
Is that a 1.5?
It does.
it's a
Huh.
13.
Not all 14 smokes.
All but one.
All but one.
Oh, I'm excited about this too, but we need another. Well, we'll rinse with the wine.
I remember taking this.
I was going to have a pickle, but I'm
To a
not, because that'll
restaurant.
ruin it. This is not the food.
I remember taking this to a restaurant down in Portsmouth when
Yeah.
we were going to do a paired dinner.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, these people make fruit wine and they want to come there and do it with food. And blah, blah, blah. I guess we'll be polite. And we show up there and, we're all excited about what we got going on. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, well, pour some of your fruit wine. And so we poured them some of this wine. And then they're like, yes, let's pair. Let's put together our food with your wine.
The sommelier there was the blue strawberry or
No.
This still has that spicy.
Oh, interesting.
This vintage always had this very unique, spicy. There's almost like a candy note to it now. Maybe it's because I'm coming off that whole.
I would say, yeah, it actually, like when I tasted or the rinsing
Yeah,
sip,
yeah.
I smelled the honey still, and it was wonderful.
This is blueberries, blackcurrant.
Blueberries, blackberries, elderberries, and blackcurrant.
Right off the bat.
Elderberries and blackcurrant.
Right off the bat. The one thing about the Hermitage is that acidity comes right out of the nose. You know it's going to be acidic when you smell it. And the nose is softened a lot.
A lot, right?
I'm just getting fruit, not so much all that acid.
Almost get kind of an olive on the
Olive, great. I was trying to think, there was something right on the tip of my tongue. That's it. There's an olive. note
Green
to
or
this.
black?
Oh, wow.
I think it's green. I think it's
say
green.
I think I'll go with green too. Yeah.
Or Kalamata.
I wish I was better at connecting those dots. In my
Yeah,
head.
and maybe a little.
All the books
and
I've
actually
read
maybe-
about this is
maybe
they
a little
say,
pimento.
don't think about it. As soon as a word comes to your mind, like bubble gum or soap or Dog fur, you just say it. Because if you think about it, you're like, nah, what's dog fur smell like? You don't. You just blurt. Just say whatever comes to your mind first off the bat.
Yeah, the olive and with stuffed with pimentos.
There's some other. This is like a common aroma. This has never had this before that I remember.
I think my glass is still giving me honey.
Might be. That honey's very pervasive.
Yeah.
And again, it has that softness.
Oh, it softened up beautifully.
Yeah, and that's.
Oh my.
I would say if there's anything so
Wow.
far that what I love about the age of these wines, is that the time is whatever the magic is that happens in the bottle. The texture of the mid palate just becomes like creamy and mouth coating and really it's really
It's like our 18 Hermitage right now. To me, is young. It's drinkable, but it's young. But I'm certain that if you gave that 5 years in your cellar, it's going to soften up, and those sharp edges and that acid are going to drop, and these other notes are going to come up.
And I think if you age this right, I think just go 20 years.
Yeah, and you had described this with expecting a high acid, which I would from the elderberry. That usually leaves that really kind of flaky, strong acid. It's not.
It's not there.
It's not there.
Or at least, I mean, there's a hint of it, but not anywhere near like it is.
Pimento.
Pimento?
Yeah, pimento.
That's good.
You're making me think about a martini.
That's
I
good.
know.
I'm thinking about
Actually,
martini.
I'm just actually doing some neurolingual programming so we can all get martinis after the show.
I know 2 hours from now we're going to be texting each other with our martinis. That was fun. I knew. I went to sleep, but I knew you weren't going to be the last one because you're competitive. So you had to pull out
You never said anything.
that old. I know. I didn't want to give you the benefit of that.
Yeah, I know. Thanks.
Keep you on edge.
So my phone starts beeping and beeping and beeping at like 3 in the morning and one that I'm trying to sleep and I gotta fly back.
And Bob and I are drinking it.
There, all these texts. It's like this bottle of wine, that bottle of wine, this bottle of wine. Oh, for darn's sake, someone's trying to sleep here.
You gotta turn your phone off.
I forgot. No, I did after that. Thank you very much. I put it on that new Apple setting of do not disturb. I'm sleeping. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
it's so much fun.
Those are that notification is so interesting to me though, because it gives you the option. If I text somebody and they're like, so and so has notification silenced, but then it gives you the option, deliver anyway. And you're like, yeah, wake up.
Bob had.
And then it's nice, it's like message delivered quietly.
It's on my phone.
Yeah, it would say it's got quiet on it. Send it. I don't know why they let it go through. What's the point?
I don't know that it does. I think in my mode, the way I've said it, you can't.
I guess it's just letting you, the sender, know that you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
So
I
this
would
is,
put this in a drink now category.
yeah, I think it's drinking really
I
nice.
think
And
I put a drink.
I do in a drink now, but I still think you could go 5 more years on this.
and
It
I
would
think
not
it'll
get
last
worse.
another
It'll
5
get
years.
better.
I think
Not
it'll
just
another
last.
5
I think it'll get better.
And we don't know.
No.
But it doesn't have a lot of tannic finish for me.
It's light.
Something that's going to give it that. There's some. It's already dropped out a lot of acidity. It's already changed a lot. And where is it going to change from here? I think we're going to get more of that olive pimento sort of side, and that's all from the elderberry.
That's the elderberry.
Because it smells like elderberry.
It's elderberry. Now I'm getting the
Yeah,
elderberry.
it really that is,
It is
to me
elderberry.
a lot of what elderberry is about. So it's very elderberry.
That's what it is. This one has more elderberry in it.
I still think it will round out.
Yeah, well, maybe.
I think it's still sharp.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we'll find out.
Yeah. Well, we've had some Hermitage older than this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
experienced some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we may have opened this at another event or something because I have a bottle of this one at home,
Yeah.
which means it's made
Yeah, you have
appearances.
all the vintages, I think.
Not quite. I think I have 11, 12, 14, 17,
Oh,
18.
she keeps her cellar better than I do. I don't know that I
I
could
I don't
say
have
that.
space for everything, but I just
You have
because I
really-
acquired a few old Hermitages, I've made that sort of my Hermit Woods library wine.
Yeah.
So trying to get if you've got any 15 or 16, or I think
There was no 16.
there was no 16.
What does it go back to? 10?
12.
12.
12.
But the proto Hermitage that she has from 11 is called Beck.
I think I won that at our staff party last year.
So that's blueberry, elderberry, and cassis. Like
Yes, yeah. I think I won that at our
We
holiday
drank
party
that
last
up.
year.
Yeah,
It was
that was
the prime
That
gift.
was really.
And you're still aging it.
I'm
What-
gonna
what's your
have a
plan?
party at some point, and it'll be a Hermitage party. We'll open all of them.
Oh, it'll be doing a vertical,
Mhm.
a Hermitage vertical.
We did a straight, we did the straight, what was the
I
wine
just get that was. I
Yeah.
want to be invited.
Yeah, yeah, you can.
What
This
was
is-
the
this
wine
again
we
is
had
very-
on our
very good
staff
to choose.
Christmas party? That,
Oh, that Ruby's
that
mom
was a
got.
black currant
Mm-hmm.
wine.
Yeah.
That was delicious. Yeah.
And that was from like 12 or something like that. And that needed that much time to soften out. Because early on, when those wines are young, that black currant wine is young, it's just powerful.
Well, again, this wine, like Chuck has said,
Yeah.
this is a food wine.
Yeah.
The wine gets better
Yeah.
with the right food.
Yeah.
The wine gets better, as does the food.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing
Yeah.
better than I just so enjoy when you know what the magic is and having that right bottle of wine with the right collection of food.
Yeah.
And just sitting, that's your dinner. That's your meal. Just drinking and eating. Finger foods. I mean, charcuterie is
Yeah.
really designed
This
for
is
that.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
This is the one I've found when we do the wine and cheese tasting at the tasting bar. Hermitage it's about our driest, heaviest, biggest
Right.
red.
Right.
And that's not for a lot of people. A lot of people, that's not the style of wine that they like. But then we pair it with the Harmon's Age cheddar with a little
Oh,
dribble of
changes again.
the balsamic fig. And it
Changes
becomes sometimes people's favorite wine
Right.
on the list. A wine that if they were doing it without the pairing, they would
To us
hate.
here. Yeah.
That's great.
And
You're
it's
absolutely
so
right with
interesting how
those-
much it
with those
changes
work.
the experience having it with the with
and
something.
it's not just our wine. That's all wine.
Yeah.
It is all wine.
Oh, yeah.
There are lots of times I bring up a wine from the cellar and we just start drinking a wine and we both realize it's either not time for this wine or we need to find some food to pair with it
Right.
in order to really enjoy it.
Right, it needs to be the right food,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
Speaking of the
When are
spread,
we
I hadn't
gonna run
gotten all
out
the
of
way over to
library
that yet.
I
We
mean,
have a lot of library wine.
we have
For a while, we were storing 10 cases of everything we made.
We were.
10 cases.
Then?
Remember that? Yeah,
No.
that was
No.
a great idea.
Well,
we
for a
had.
while we weren't even selling what we made. We were storing all of it. Until somebody pointed out, our
Yes,
accountant
yes.
and
No,
Sarah
Sarah
said,
Sarah
Sarah's like,
thank you, Sarah.
what is wrong with you guys?
No, don't take that one. Don't.
Yeah, we
Don't
hired
take
you
that
to
to
distribute
Don't sell
wine.
that.
Don't
That's
sell
my
that.
favorite.
Yeah, that we like.
That's
that
my
one.
favorite. Don't sell that one.
Mhm.
I didn't want to sell them.
Yeah, this was started
Oh,
by
yeah.
a pilot, a photographer,
That was spread.
and a geologist,
It goes with
not
the
a
what?
Mhm.
businessman.
And one of the
a-
sharper
Another
cheeses.
businessman and the third businessman. This has always been an active
Don't
learning
we
as we
know-
go.
don't we know it?
I'll never forget that.
We know it.
We hired Sarah to sell wine for us.
A professional.
Yeah,
Out of
professional.
Oregon.
And all right, we're going to bring that. No, don't bring that one. No, we're keeping that.
All right,
one.
I'll just.
Or we'll sell this one. No, don't sell that one. Let's sell this one over here.
We don't have enough of that to sell. Yeah. So, it's like you could sell Petite Blue and Crab Apple or something.
Right.
Oh, well.
No, well, we learned, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah, what'd you have it with? That. Yeah.
The was spread,
exactly.
yeah.
There you go. Yeah, the was.
So
I think it's the bright tanginess.
the brightness
in
of
there.
that
Yeah.
comes together with the brightness of this, and they just propel each other into a new place.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It's an ingredient that needs another ingredient to be
That's
Yeah.
just
at the top of its game.
like
chemistry.
pork chops and applesauce.
Yeah. Peanut butter and bananas. Or no, peanut butter and chocolate.
Oh, peanut butter chocolate, bananas,
Yeah.
peanut butter chocolate. Yeah, ice cream,
Trifecta.
chocolate, bananas,
Oh,
peanut butter. Yeah.
All right, you're talking dessert now. We should have.
Yeah.
dessert.
Oh, good transition.
Nice.
You did that again.
Good
Well,
job.
I knew what was coming next. I've been looking forward to this one.
I think we should get new glasses for this one.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Glasses.
Well, this is over there. I'm gonna get a little more of this.
If I
Finish
remember
off my
correctly, I
Hermitage.
think I finished this wine off as sweet as
So-
What are we talking about? It's
This is a
2013,
13.
and this is a melange.
Melange Blanc.
Melange blanc. For
I
those
think
of you
this
who
is
don't
the
speak
very first vintage
French,
of Melange
blanc
Blanc.
is white, so it's a white blend of fruit. Dessert
And what's melange mean?
blend.
Mélange.
A mix.
A mix.
Conglomeration.
Conglomeration.
It's a French word, but it's a geology term, right,
So
Ken?
this, yeah, in geology it's used. Melange is a rock type that It's a big mixture of different types of rocks that have been joined together, either in a collapsing sedimentary environment or in a fault zone. Rocks and subclass. So this is made out of peaches, rhubarb, white cherries,
White
Oh.
cherry. White cherry. What were you thinking too?
rose hips, pears, and quince.
Is this what did you ferment
This
this
is
in
the
that
first
barrel?
one.
Is this
No,
not,
no,
that's not the barrel one.
This was like
Wait,
2 cartons.
13. So this is
This was the first.
It's
very
10 years
first
old.
vintage.
in a few weeks. It'll be 10 years
Yeah.
old.
Anybody?
Let's check in
is
with
anybody out there?
Audience, yeah.
We've got our usuals: Priscilla,
Take over your
Christine,
job.
Karen.
He's on.
Missing a few of the regulars, but
Any questions that we want to answer?
none. so
Somebody
far.
loves your hat.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Thank you. It came from the
Audience.
Rainbow hardware store on 76 and First Avenue in Manhattan. Yesterday. Yes. So there we go.
Yeah, and some folks, Karen is jealous of what we're drinking, but
I keep track of all
so Karen knows, and everybody, the reason that we're tasting these, we maybe have alluded to this already, but the reason that we're tasting these 4 wines is that these 4 are available currently in the tasting room only to club members.
No, we don't want to sell these.
There's about a case
It's
of
too
each.
late.
Grab them on your way
We're
out.
already
Zach.
Too late. We put them on the
Right now they are.
Sorry.
Chuck may buy them all now,
No,
but
no.
We're selling wines occasionally.
We learned our lesson.
yeah. So these are available for club
Yeah,
members in the
yeah,
tasting
yeah.
room.
A lot of
It's really weird.
Yeah. And there's no
Oh.
alcohol.
There's no alcohol. Well, there's quince. But-
Oh,
but
it's the quince.
I don't know.
And
Yeah.
rose hips is
It
in the
smells
apple
very
family.
interesting.
And rose hips are in the apple family. That's right. Look at you.
I remember. I think so. It must have been the
Professor
14
Family.
vintage. Did you do anything between 14 and whatever's on the shelf now?
17?
17 is what's on the shelf now, but there wasn't
Yeah,
anything in
17.
between.
I did
Right?
a 15 and a 16.
Oh, you did. Okay.
I did.
Because I think my first fall, we bottled what's on the shelf right now, and we wanted to move the last vintage, so we were doing it as mulled wine,
Yeah, because
And it
the
was
16,
fantastic.
I remember the 16,
as a mulled
Oh.
wine.
when I put it together, I didn't back sweeten it. And I regretted that because I wanted
It
to
wasn't
back
as sweet.
sweeten it.
Because we were adding sugar even when we were mulling it. Like
Right.
normally when we do the Petit Bleu, you expect to add some sugar to the mulled wine, but a dessert wine you wouldn't expect to. But we were, and I think that one is quite strong on the apple as well,
Hmm.
and I think that's what made it take on the mulling spices so nicely.
This is one of your best wines.
I love these Mahoney.
I just love this
Wow.
wine. It is so complex. There's so much going on in the flavor of this wine. And it is sweet, but it's not overly sweet. It's not cloyingly sweet.
It's right sweet.
It's
Yeah.
right sweet. It's
Yeah.
just so brilliant.
No,
I
it's-
just
it's-
love this wine.
It's not.
Mm.
So one of my favorite wines in this style is the Sauterne.
Yeah, exactly.
And my wife and I had a bottle of Sauterne the other night. It's a sort of once a year treat.
Wow.
I like their RGs.
That's when he was trying to keep you
We were
awake in
friends.
London.
Yeah.
He started with that. He
Started
pulled
with
that
that.
out of his quiver.
I
And I
No,
was
that
like,
was
oh,
after. No, that was
I didn't
after the
actually
2011
see it, yeah.
Chateau.
right.
I started with that.
And I saw that and I'm like, what am I going to do to compete with this Sauterne? Oh
So
my
you
God.
got an 05 Syrah.
Brandy.
whatever it is.
Oh, no.
No, no,
Well,
you started off with a red wine
Yeah.
to match my red wine.
Yeah.
It was an 05,
Yeah.
but it was an old one.
yeah,
I
05.
was going to go down and get
I
a 93.
remember that year.
I got okay.
But I couldn't top. I don't have a wine that tops your Sauterne,
Sauterne,
so I had to go down and get a brandy from our friend in South
Yes,
Africa.
yes.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you still have some.
Yeah,
I
only had a very small.
But,
sip.
yeah, that's right. I
So
know.
I haven't-
You're gonna keep that forever.
I have to be ready for the next time you pull Sauterne.
So this you made in Carboys, and it was a
It
melange.
was a small batch. Yeah. It was the
Sort of
first time I
sort of
tried
Lake
this.
House White kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's sort of same sort of ingredients I would have in Lake House White, except I have white cherries. I don't know where those came from.
So the only thing that's even possibly
Oh, they
going
came from Greg Mead.
to go with this.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I had a bit of I think the Shepsog, the harder cheese that's gone now.
Yeah.
That actually it wasn't bad.
Mm.
It surprised me. I didn't think it would work, but
I'm gonna try this.
That I love that cheese.
this I like this with
such a great
apple
way for-
pie. Do you remember that when I think
Mm.
it was we did a dessert tasting one time? Was that when we did this? And we had apple pie, and the Melange Blanc with apple pie was
Goes good with that.
with the walnuts.
It was, I just, yeah.
It goes great with it.
Yeah.
So they
what
come
is the-
together really nicely.
So we
I
need
think
to-
we'll be
we need
doing
that
this-
live.
What is the future of this wine? Are you still making this?
Yeah.
So I haven't made it since 2017.
Ooh.
Budgetary
I
cuts in trimming the the
You
excesses
never
of
know
our
how
wine
things are
production.
gonna happen. There's all sorts of different things happening. Different winds blow, different
Yeah,
materials
ebbs and flows,
move, different
right?
stuff happens, and then out it comes.
Mm.
It doesn't go with the soft cheese.
So I would say that
So it's one of the harder cheeses.
Yeah. I think that.
what I think that it's not for a dessert wine. It actually could be anything, right?
This could be
just
an aperitif.
It could be an
This could be an
you,
aperitif.
Yeah,
you could have
absolutely.
this and pair it with
Oh,
something
yeah.
that
Sure.
you like. That it would
Kind of like a sherry or a vermouth that you're just sipping on.
yeah, wake up the palate and that sort of stuff, or have it after dinner too with fruit or something.
Isn't this what
Maybe something a little sweeter, as a matter of where it goes. But honestly, just sitting here and drinking this for the sake of drinking it is phenomenal. I mean, it is just really a special thing.
I like
And
the way this is.
it comes to the thing I always come back to in my mind is that you can travel planet Earth and you're never going to have something like this anywhere else except exactly here.
Isn't this one of the ones that Matt
What's
makes
so fun about
butter?
food and
Doesn't he do a
music
beurre de
and
melange?
art.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
You go to different places and you just have that stuff that
Right,
you
right.
can't get it anywhere.
yeah. We can't get this anywhere except we have a case or something.
Less than a case of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, this
We
it
have
really-
the newer, the 2017,
Which
I
is
think
also really amazing.
also amazing. I think it's sweeter. The 2017 is sweeter, I think.
I think you're right.
Do we have a 17 here?
Yes, it'll be far right,
Side by side because
behind the
of
water
all
pitchers.
Melange Blancs I made, I like the 17 best, but I really like this. So-
yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe we should do side by
What'd you
side.
say? Way on the left?
Sorry, far
You're
right.
on the right side.
I'm on. It's
Her left.
yeah, my
You're
left.
right. Right?
There's
Right.
yeah.
Left.
There's a lot of tall skinny bottles over there. Sorry.
So Bob, how
But it
does
should be in there.
go
With
with
walnuts. No.
no walnuts?
No walnuts.
Sweet.
It goes good with that.
Yeah.
And it didn't go good with this.
How did you go? How about
Try
didn't try
try a
mustard,
nibble
I
with the
wouldn't.
hard cheese.
I think I'll go with
That
the
other
other
piece of
direction.
cheese though might work all right.
I'm gonna
And
go
these
with the
these
walnut.
crackers, I gotta give another shout out to Jack's. We did it at the beginning,
It's
but
so good.
I love the Jack's
I
crackers
love
with
Jack's
all the
crackers.
pairing. They're just flavorful enough. You know, it's not a strong flavor with the red wine and white wine. There's a tiny hint of sweetness, but there's a little bit of saltiness.
So many open bottles of wine.
There's probably 6 over there because that's the 3 meads and the 3 dessert wines.
Oh, that worked. Yeah, that was super good. Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of this. I'm a huge fan of the sweetness too. I mean, I'm sure it's nice sweeter, but this is sort of changes the category a little bit from a dessert to just a really awesome wine. And imagine that the amount of ascorbic acid that's in here.
Right.
I mean, once again, this is just full of
So
local.
You're saying it's
fresh
healthy
cut-
for me.
This is
So
gonna
Let's have some more.
Yes. Do you
We're gonna have some
realize-
more. Oh,
you
he's got
realize
some
that
right
we are
here.
all 150.
He's the only one who's going to get to try it.
We are 150.
I
years
think
old.
there's probably a full bottle.
12.
Here, let me dig.
It's not gonna be good. Maybe. It looks more viscous.
A lot more.
Yeah. All right, and drum roll. It's cold too. It's
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow. That was open 15 days ago.
Well, these higher alcohol, higher sugar, Chuck proved this a long time ago.
Yeah.
They hold up well over
Yeah.
time.
This way is 17.
That was the barrel.
This was one. I
That
still
was
have a
the
mental.
fermented
I
barrel.
still have a
I
mental.
love
image.
that picture.
Ken took the cover off. Barrel that was at the
French oak barrel.
end of its.
We have to
life as a
split that.
barrel, and he just threw all
I
the
just-
fruit in
there's
there and
no
just
Yeah.
bubbled away, fermented. And you look at it, it's like, that's just the weirdest melange of
That was it.
fruits that it was just bizarre.
Don't get any water in there because there's not much to play.
It's a lot.
You should just go straight from the bottle.
Yeah, just.
And that's back sweetened with sugar.
And also, maybe I do with the deep blue now, I've got it figured out where I can add more sugar than the yeast can handle. And
Yeah.
to target having that resisting, that leftover sugar.
So this is, I think they're both
Oh, yeah.
equally the same. This is sweeter.
This is definitely sweeter. It's got a little more like viscous mouthfeel, but still, again,
Yeah,
it's not
coats your mouth a
syrupy
little bit.
still.
Good.
Yeah, much more of a port-like version
Yeah,
of a
yeah.
dessert wine versus what the
More
first one-
Sauterne-like too.
More of a,
Right.
because it's
That's what I'm.
higher residual sugar, more mouthfeel, soft.
I want to
flavors.
make a Sauterne.
Yeah.
That's without a
Well, you
question.
need noble raw.
Yes, you got to go through all that stuff.
I don't know that he does.
I'm rotting. just
He's
fine.
on the way.
It doesn't have to be noble.
You are pretty rotten. I do have to say. It's not fair that you make all of this wine. You have to work every day to drink more of it. I mean, there's how many open bottles down there? That are
There's
just
a lot.
We need people to come in and drink wine, please. Come every day, help us with our wine problem, like by coming in.
There is no helping us.
Yep.
No one to tell you. People have been trying for years.
You keep helping yourselves and making it worse for
Yes.
yourself.
Think of the
Better for
vitamins,
yourself.
the ascorbic
Better,
acid.
yes. Absolutely. So, can you believe it? It's an hour.
We're getting there,
rambling
yeah.
on for an hour again.
We're 2
Closing
minutes
arguments.
away from closing arguments.
Okay.
What did we learn? We had four library
I learned
wines,
a lot.
3 14s,
And 4 for 4, pretty good.
4 for 4. Yeah, I think
We were hoping
Yeah,
initially we were
yeah.
hoping to do this before the club party because
We were gonna
they were
pour
on the
them for the
shelves.
club party.
Yeah, we were going to maybe pour them and want to sort of taste them before we offered them up.
Right.
Well, no worries, because we're going to do the club party in January.
Yep.
We'll bring some more library wines out, and
Of
we'll
course.
taste them before the club party. We'll do
Mhm.
our Monday night show on some more library wines right before the club party in January, and then there'll be those wines.
We got to drink more.
We have to drink more.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's-
Sounds good.
But it's nice.
So-
I feel like it's always sort of a risk when we bring out the library wines because you never quite know how they're going to hold up. But
Yeah.
4 for 4, I'll quite drink.
So if you're looking
So
for
you,
a unique
you
gift,
can age fruit wine.
yeah, you heard it here first from the research center at Hermit Woods Institute LLC.com. Right. So we are the data factory for aging fruit wine.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
I think we're the data
Fruit
factory
wine
for
people that
anything
do that.
fruit wine.
Pretty much. Well, yeah. Well, maybe there's something out there. But
I don't know that there's anybody out there doing what Kenton's doing with
No.
the various fruits
Well,
we're working
what's-
with anywhere in the world.
Who's
Period.
our-
Hands down.
who's our friend from Maryland? Came up here.
Joe?
Joe Fiora. Yeah. So he's doing literally working for a university doing research on fruit wine.
He
But he doesn't
he
have
has named a strawberry.
he's
raspberry.
named a strawberry. So he's done a lot of work.
Is it a
with fruit
Joe
wine.
Fiola strawberry?
No, it's named for his daughter, I think.
Oh, that's terrific. Yeah. Cool.
So, but we
got
have
the
what
name
we've
of it.
done is he makes wine to drink today, and when he comes here, he's just astonished. It's just he spent all
He did
afternoon
enjoy- yeah, he
going
did.
through wines because even the biggest expert in the field of fruit wine has no experience with what we've done. Right? Nobody can't age fruit wine. So if you're looking for a Christmas present and it's getting to you,
Said the
and-
guy with the Santa hat on.
said Santa's helper.
Oh,
It's
oh.
like, so, oh my God, I got the most impossible person on the planet Earth. I want to get something really cool. That's unique. That's local. That you can't get anywhere else on planet Earth. See Marika. We got it right in the
Right.
library, right downstairs.
Right.
What a cool thing. And it's got a story. And yeah, it's a gift that keeps on giving, right?
We're open all week. We'll be open Christmas Eve as well for those last minute procrastinators.
Till 6.
And we have Lengari Ferrari on Thursday.
Oh,
I am
that's
just
great.
yeah.
Are you here for that?
so excited.
We're here.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're all
You're
here.
here
We're all
too?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
all
we're all
here.
here.
Yeah, come watch the show.
It's gonna be
Thursday.
packed.
Better block some seats out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben's
Oh, you bought tickets.
Yeah.
Ben's got a party of 4.
I got him all worked out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you are party 2?
Nope, it's me.
Just you? Okay. So good. We're gonna have a great show. It's gonna be almost a full house.
Yeah.
That's gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
a great
Oh,
show.
it's
So
She's
so
fantastic. What I like too is she kind of opened up for us.
And she's
She's
just
the
about
best.
close.
She was the
Closing-
first
closing-
act.
closing
Yeah.
first, this first season.
Not quite.
Not quite. There's
Not
one
one
more.
more
We've got
artist.
was it Benny Sharoni the week after?
Almost.
But just about kind of bookend.
Sharoni. He's coming here. We haven't sold any tickets to the show. I don't know where everybody is. This guy has played sax all over the world. All over the world.
What's the date?
It's the 30th.
Oh, the 30th.
You might be here. You're
Yeah.
not flying
Oh,
out
yeah.
to the 31st.
Oh, yeah, right.
I think something like that.
No, well, we're going to Portland to some fancy restaurant on New Year's Eve. So it's next night. So we'll be here. We're coming.
Yeah, he's going. That's
Yeah.
gonna be great. We haven't sold tickets
Oh,
to
hell
it.
yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, it's because we're not tapped into the people who listen to Benny Sharoni don't know us, and we don't know them. We have to find out how do we get into their ear, because this guy, just like
Help us get the word out.
the pianist that we had the other day has played in 25 countries. Gardner.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. He's played all over the
I've been-
world. He's played at the Lincoln Center.
No, I've actually, he just put out an album and I've been listening to it on Apple, on iTunes. And we listened to it the whole way up.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic
It's
music
phenomenal. Yeah.
right here.
Yeah. No, I know.
I just blows my mind. Where is everybody?
Yeah.
I think once they get the word that we got these artists coming out here, they're going to show up because
Yeah.
you cannot see anything else. You have to go to the Lincoln Center to see it.
Right.
Right.
That's,
And you're never
it
going to
will
see
happen.
it.
Right now, people can actually come in here and sit and get seats and all that
Yeah.
stuff for all the shows.
Better do it now
But a couple
because
years down the
when the
road-
word gets out, we only got 50 seats.
But that's all right. We can always add another night.
Of course. No, well, we want to keep it. That's what
I
makes
want-
it so special
I wanna
that
share
we only
this with
have
everybody.
50
Right.
seats because it's really special. You're intimate and you have a relationship with your audience that you can't have any other way. I've been learning about this. This idea of a listening room concept. It's when I'm doing my loft tasting experience, I have a relationship with the audience, and when the audience isn't on board.
Yeah.
When there's a party like the
It's like doing a
bachelorettes
tasting at the
or
bar.
yeah, when they're
And
not paying
everybody's just
attention,
talking to themselves and not paying
it
attention.
deflates me.
Yeah.
I'm deflated,
Yeah.
and they get half of what I have to offer.
Yeah.
But when the audience is engaged and they're hanging on my
You're
every
just
word,
on a roll.
I light up. I present like I've never presented before in my life, and I come out of there feeling like wow. And I think that's the musician's experience.
I think it is,
That's
yeah.
what it is.
And I think
It's
we
a-
have to break
it's a
it.
constructive spiral.
Yeah.
Because everything goes up.
They're hanging on they're watching our faces. They're listening to us respond to their notes, and
We're social critters.
playing back to
We're
it.
social critters.
Yeah.
If people are upbeat and they're exciting, you feel compelled.
Yeah.
If everybody's like, "Buh," you're like, oh boy, get out
Do
of
we offer gift certificates or things for shows? So if you wanted to have a holiday gift for someone that they could buy
Well, we have gift certificates
Yeah,
that you
gift
could exchange
certificates.
for a show if you wanted
Yeah,
to.
I think there's a way. I think we could work it out. We
Yeah.
we do
We could
have
do
sort of a
So
letter
the wine,
set up that we
these
could.
shows, you cannot see anything like
Yeah.
it anywhere else. They're all curated by Jonathan Lorenz. The artists are just phenomenal. They're all just mind-boggling.
Well, you should know. Speaking on that level, we gave I don't know 6 or 8 shows to the children's auction.
Oh, we did.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they sold them.
And they
They
sold the
auctioned
shows.
them off, so the
Oh,
children's
Yeah,
auction
it's,
got
it's one of our
some
common
funds.
donation.
And those
things,
folks
yeah.
hopefully will come to see a show.
Good. Excellent. Well, there it is.
There it is.
All right.
After
Well, we are at
6:30?
the top of the hour. It's after 6:30. So thank you so much for joining us once again. Monday at 5:30 next week. What are we doing next week?
We'll be tuning in for our last show of 2022.
Oh, maybe we do a
A
year.
year. I think we should do a year in review. Yeah.
We got to do a year in review. We'll come
Yes.
up with
Let's drink every single wine. that we
I
have.
think we should each bring a wine.
The bar isn't long enough.
I think we should each bring
Our favorite.
our favorite wine of 2022 or most notable wine of 2022.
There's a work in progress. Something like that. We're going to do this. This is going to be a wrap-up show. I love it. Everybody has a year-end show, right? We're going to
Yeah.
do a year-end show. So I hope you can make it. Monday at 5:30. We also have another fun
Will
show.
it be, retrospective? Or we're going to look back over
We're going to
the
decide.
year?
You have to figure that out. You have to. That's what we should do. Something like
We'll
that.
talk about
How do
this.
we do it
We'll talk about
Skiing.
this on the slopes.
on Wednesday?
Day after tomorrow.
But we have a good show. Travis is coming up with he's going to be a chef on the show. He's going to be our
Do a
chef on
cooking
the
show again.
He's going to do a cooking show.
So that's coming up in
Coming
not
up
next
in a
week,
few
couple
weeks.
Yep.
He's working on it.
Nice.
And if you don't know, Travis developed a prefix menu for the show, which
Yeah, those Thursday night shows, you can do that.
Yeah.
It's
So if you
add-on
want to
now.
sign up and see the show on Thursday with a prefix, you can do that too, and it's a great.
I might depend you.
So anyway, we'll see you all next Monday. Have a great
Or
week.
maybe Thursday.
Have a wonderful holiday. We will
Yeah.
we'll look
Happy
forward to seeing you
Hanukkah, Merry
after.
Christmas, Happy
Oh.
Kwanzaa,
All that
for
good
the rest
stuff.
of us.
Yeah.
Happy.
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 Cheers, everybody.
All right.
Cheers. All right.
Good night.
Empty glass.
Empty glass. Now I can have the
We're gonna
pickle.
fill it up.
Now you can have a pickle. That's true. We got to figure out what pairs of pickles.
So come on up here and try some
Nothing.
of this wine.
Nothing.
Beer.
But I still love having them on the board.
I know.
Ken, I'm loving this.
You like the beer?
Very good. From a German, you've got my thumbs up.
All right.
Wow.
I mean, I do have to a little bit better.
There's more.
It's about 7.4 ABV, so.
Oh, is that IPA?
Yes.
Oh yeah, y'all did well in that picture. Nice job.
Yeah. Well,
Well, you're gonna see this system in operation tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Are you brewing tomorrow?
Beer tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's gonna be fun. Very casual. Just hang out in a little shack.
Yeah.
Throw darts, drink beer. I have the
Okay.
same beer on draft at my house, so we'll just drink a
You have
picture
wine.
of that.
That sounds like a good night.
You gotta try this kiwi
It'll
one.
be rough.
And we're going skiing on Wednesday.
And we're skiing Wednesday.
You gonna join us?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.